All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So good afternoon, I should say. Normally I say good morning because this is usually a morning webinar, but good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. My name is Wade Cornett. I am the ITSM practice lead at Expium, a Valiantus company. Today we're going to be talking about Jira Service Management for ITSM. This webinar does build on itself from another webinar named Jira Service Management Fundamentals that actually happened today at 11 a.m. So if you want to go back and see what that was all about, it will be posted to our YouTube channel and we can provide you that link. But the difference between this webinar you find yourself in today is that webinar covers all of the Jira Service Management basics, the portal, creating tickets as a customer, managing tickets as an agent, basically your day-to-day JSM functions. And the webinar today that you're going to be viewing is all about the ITSM feature set. So incident management, problem management, change management, service request management. So we're going to be looking at all of that in this webinar today. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in now. All right, so I just talked a little bit about the fundamentals webinar. So today, some of the products that we're going to be looking at include Insight, which is actually now called Assets. So the Assets database has been rebranded. Opsgenie, Automation for Jira, and Statuspage, all in combination with JSM. And I'm going to be doing 3 separate demos for you guys: service request management using the Assets database, incident management, and change management. But before we get into things, let me tell you just a little bit about us. We are a Platinum Solutions partner with Atlassian. And what that means is we can help you with things such as training, consulting, and custom development. So if you guys are using any Atlassian products, we do have training curriculum for those that we can come in, train your admins, train your end users how to use them appropriately. We also do consulting or professional services around the entire Atlassian suite of products. So if you need help building something, if you need guidance on best practice or how to scale your Atlassian deployment, as well as implementing a new Atlassian product, we can certainly help you with that. And then lastly, custom development. Expium was born out of a full stack development company. So if there is something that you do need the Atlassian tool set to do, maybe they don't do them out of the box, we can help you with that as well. Using the APIs, we can build you scripts, custom applications that'll run on top of the Atlassian products to help you do anything that you might need to do within the tool. Yeah. All right, so jumping into it here, we're going to get right into our first demo, and that is going to be that service request management using the Assets database. So who is this for exactly? Well, this is for service teams as well as IT teams that might be doing traditional service request management or ITAM. We're going to take a look at both of those. And the challenge that we see a lot of people facing is a way to easily track and manage their assets as well as service requests relating to those assets. So for example, somebody requesting a new piece of hardware from a portal. How do we track and manage that easily and effectively? Well, the solution to that is using the Assets database, which does seamlessly integrate into JSM for your ticketing system. The tools that we're going to be looking at here today are all out of the box to do this. There's no custom scripting. No additional add-ons required here for this. It is just Jira Service Management, Assets and/or Insights, and a couple Automation for Jira rules. So let me jump over to my demo site and we're going to get into it. So right now I'm actually in the help center, which you probably would have seen in that other webinar that I had talked to you about. But I'm going to jump into the IT Service Desk portal. And for the purpose of this demo, I'm actually going to be submitting a new request for a laptop. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to select request a new laptop. And we have a very basic form here with just a couple of fields to gather information. The first thing that it's asking is my reason for requesting a new laptop. And for this example, I'm going to say that my equipment was damaged. I can provide any additional details if I needed to, and then I can, down here at the bottom, I can select which model laptop I would like. So as you can see here, this field is a little bit different. It says search for asset objects. So this is called an asset object field, and it's actually going to search our asset management database named assets for a list of in-stock laptops. So if I click into this field, I'm going to see three options: a MacBook Pro 13-inch, 16-inch, and then a ThinkPad. Now, what we're displaying in this list is a list of laptops that are currently, quote unquote, in stock. So we have a label on the assets in the database that says in stock. And whenever one gets taken out, that number decreases so that you can only request for laptops that are currently available. Now, if I were to select the last laptop that was actually in stock, the next person that would come in, to request a new laptop would not be able to request that one unless they were reordered. So I'll just go ahead and pick this MacBook Pro 13-inch and I'll submit my request. So now me, as the user, I can see the request that I submitted and I can see the status that it's in, which is waiting for approval. But I'm going to go ahead and jump to the agent side of Jira Service Management now and kind of walk you through everything that's going on for the agents. Give it a minute to load here. All right, so a couple things have happened now that this request was submitted. We can see that the request that I submitted, we can see the reason for requesting this is that the equipment was damaged. If I added a description, I would see it here. And then I can see my laptop model that I actually requested. So in this case, it's the MacBook Pro 13-inch. And this asset object field is a little bit more than a traditional custom field within Jira, if you are familiar with the Jira products. We can pull additional information out of the assets database and display it on this field. So if I tab down into this, I can see the name of the laptop, who the vendor is, the screen size, additional information. But I can also see now that the status that I had told you about before, being in stock, has now been updated to being offered because I have just requested this laptop. So now there's one less MacBook Pro 13-inch in stock to actually choose from. A couple other things have happened. If I scroll down here over to the right, we can see that my ticket's in waiting for approval, but it's actually gone in and it's pulled my manager out of the assets database, and it's notified him specifically that, hey, Wade requested a new laptop and you need to either approve or deny this. So he would have gotten a notification to approve and or deny my service request. And then we can also see here this affected equipment field. It's also an asset object field that was pulled from the asset database. And we can see that this was my current laptop, right? So when I submitted this request as my Atlassian account here, it went in and pulled all of this information out of the database. So it found the current laptop that I have, had at the moment, and it marked it as damaged. So rather than being in use, it's now damaged because I had set my reason to being the current equipment is damaged. So it updated the status of my current laptop to damaged. Now, if my request did get approved, the agent could go through and decom my laptop, assign me a new one, and get it all spun up for me and actually fulfill my request and transition it through its workflow. So this request, pulling all of this information out of the assets database was all done using automation for Jira, assets, and JSM. But what I want to do really quickly is jump into the assets database and kind of walk you through some of this structure. So the very first thing here is the assets database is built up of what is called object schemas. So we have multiple schemas to manage multiple things. In this case, I'm in my IT employee assets schema, and I can find I think mine's down here towards the bottom. Here we go. Found my laptop here, which has now been marked as damaged. You can see that right here. And we can see some relevant information, such as all of the times this laptop has ever been mentioned on a Jira issue. And then we can also see in an object graph all of the things about this laptop. So currently it's me, it's just me on the laptop. So I own this laptop. I am its owner. But I can also drill down into myself and see additional information, such as I work in the IT department in St. Louis, and my manager is actually Brian. So we can see quite a bit of information here in this expandable object graph in reference other asset objects. So in my case, we can see all this additional information: my Jira user, the location that I work, the department that I'm in, and my manager. And by establishing these references, that's how I'm going to pull that specific information out of the database when a ticket is submitted. So, all right. If you guys have any questions about any of this, I will be going over questions at the end. So feel free to put your questions in the chat as I'm going, and I will address them towards the end of this webinar. Okay, so that's going to be, just one example of service request management in JSM using the assets database and the Jira Service Management and automation for Jira. So I'm going to come back to my slideshow here, and I want to talk about incident management now for our next demo. So who is this for? Well, really, it's for anybody doing traditional incident management, IT operations teams. And then the challenge here that we're typically seeing is lack of visibility to quickly be able to respond to major outages or incidents and get those services back up and running, for your customers. The solution here is going to be a centrally managed alerting and trafficking of deployments and service relationships, all using Jira Service Management, Opsgenie, and Confluence to manage your alerting, your ticketing, and the up and down time of your service. And like I said, we're going to use JSM, Opsgenie, Statuspage, and Confluence for this. So jumping back over to my, jumping back into my project here. I'm going to come out to my portal, and now I'm going to pretend to be an end user and I'm going to report a systems problem. So I can click this request, and I can fill out some relevant information, such as, you know, we'll say the website is down. Describe what happened, how it occurred. I'm not sure. I can't log in. I don't know. We'll just play around there. And then we have this field named affected services. So here's where I can identify the service that I'm actually experiencing a problem with. And this field has quite a bit of functionality to it, as opposed to a normal custom field. So I'm going to select that I'm having a problem with my affected service. And I can set the urgency and the impact, but I'm going to go ahead and just hit submit. Well, let me jump back really quick. Now, because I just reported an incident on my website, you can see here that there's a status update that the website is down. So I can actually jump over here as a customer to Statuspage and view any uptime. So right now, there is a status that says that, you know, the website is down and we're still investigating this issue. So Statuspage does allow you to subscribe to updates, post your application's uptimes. You know, again, there's nothing connected to my website. It's a demo, so it does show that it is operational, but I do have just this status here, and I'm pulling it into the portal to visualize that. But jumping back to the ticket now, we'll walk you through a bit of the incident management features and functionality here. So looking at the ticket that I just submitted, the website is down. I told you that that affected services field was a bit of a unique field in that it also operates, excuse me, it also operates like an asset object field, to where it'll pull additional information such as the description of the affected service, the tier, as well as other open incidents. So right now there are currently 18 other open incidents on the website service. So me being a triage agent, I can use that. I can link those alerts together. Maybe they're all part of a major incident. So I can view all of these guys here just by looking at this affected services field. Moving on down the line, you know, trying to find the root cause of this incident and get it operational as quickly as possible, I can also view any changes that have been made to my selected affected services. In this case, the website, right? So if you were doing change management in JSM, you can select the service that you're actually making a change on, and that will automatically link these two together. So if I'm trying to identify a cause of this incident, I can view past changes, jump to that linked change, you know, read my implementation plan, my backout plan, test plan, what was actually changed, and identify this as a potential cause for my incident, right? So, oops, so sorry. Really quick way to identify potential causes there. And we actually have one more. If I jump back, oh, there we go. Another way to identify potential causes is if you are linking one of your CI/CD pipelines to JSM, we can actually come to the top and press this investigate feature. So what this does is it is showing me a timeline of my services for past successful deployments. So I can see on May 22nd, what day was that? Tuesday, Monday actually, I can see that I had a successful deployment number 150 to production, to my production environment, and that deployment was successful. So what I can do is I can actually jump into this deployment here over in Bitbucket and identify, read the commit messages, see what issues it's linked to, jump in to the code, review what was actually deployed, and see if I can't identify a potential cause of this incident. And then maybe there was a potential cause there. I can actually flag this deployment as a potential cause of the outage. But I could also jump back through the timeline and view past deployments from last week, last month, what have you, and identify those there. So really cool feature set for incident management in JSM. But I'm not done yet. Over here to the right, we do have this major incident toggle. So as I was saying, your triage agents might be viewing this. They can flag this as a major incident. And what it does is it puts this, this flag up here at the top that is now labeled major incident. And it will route it to a new queue under your incidents category. And so you can quickly view all of your major incidents here. And if you're linking your other open incidents to the one master major incident, it's a quick way to do all of that. There is no additional functionality out of the box when you flip that toggle. It is, but you can use automation to extend that feature of the major incident toggle. Now, a couple other things here, all included out of the box with JSM now is Opsgenie. And one of the features you're going to get with that is the ability to create a conference bridge over an Opsgenie that will persist for the life of the ticket. So I have this incident coming in, and when I started that call, you can see here that anybody that comes to the incident in JSM, like the actual ticket itself, they will have the ability to join that incident from the ticket. And this command center or conference bridge will exist for the life of the ticket, and anybody can join, add notes, make comments. You can also add other responders, different responding teams to this chat so that they can join as well. And then the comment log, the chat log will actually all be logged on the incident summary when we get into our PIR. So I'm going to jump out of here now and just kind of highlight some of the other things. And that is the ability to automatically create a Teams chat or a Slack channel when this incident was created. I don't have those tools connected, so I can't show you that, but when your incident's created and maybe you toggle on major incident, you want to have a Microsoft Teams channel or a Slack channel automatically created for you for everybody to swarm around the incident and resolve it as quickly as possible. And then we also have the ability to add stakeholders. So we have a new field where we can add stakeholders to that maybe are listed out on our affected service, or if we identify another stakeholder that we need to add, we can do that. But you can see by using those stakeholders down here at the bottom, we have this third comment option, which is actually to inform stakeholders. So you can update them of the latest status and ongoings of the ticket. So you can mention the stakeholders specifically there. Now, let's say that we've identified the potential cause of this ticket. We go in, resolve it. Wonderful. Now it's time to add our post-incident reviews. So up here at the top, I can click Add PIR. And what this does is this automatically pulls up this create screen. Toggle this on. This create screen for my post-incident reviews. And I can add my summary and my description for my post-incident reviews. And if I create this, give it a second to load. Got my ticket number, just give me 1 second. So I can go ahead and link to my incident from my PIR. You can also have this automatically link the incident together. But if I link these 2 tickets together, we're going to see, I should have done it here on the primary incident. Apologies. Interesting. I'm not sure why my there we go. So because I've linked to my incident, I apologize there. I think the automation might be broken. Normally it links the 2 together, but I can see a total timeline for all of the actions that have been logged on the ticket here. So for all of the ongoings of the incident, you're going to see that roll up here, and then you can quickly jump to your incident from the PIR ticket. And then there is this entire incident summary, such as when it's created, it's currently open, but if I resolved it, it would show that there, the total time it took to resolve, who it was assigned to, what affected service it was on. And then we can export all of this information to a Confluence space where maybe we house our PIRs. Okay. So if there are any questions about incident management, definitely put them in the chat. I will get to those here at the end, but I want to make sure we have time for our last demo, which is going to be change management. This is actually my favorite demo. So really quickly, who is this for? It's for change advisory boards and developers. And the challenge that a lot of teams are facing is the ability to quickly manage risk, coordinate changes, and ease that change creation process. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a burden. And the solution here is automated risk assessments, automated ticket creation, and automatic resolving of change requests. And we're going to use JSM, Bitbucket, and automation for Jira to do all of this. So I'm actually going to kind of show you 2 demos in one, and it's going to be automatically deploying a change to our pipeline on our affected service and have that change request automatically created. And then once the change is successfully deployed to production, it will auto close that change. And then I'll be showing you another example of that, maybe on like a tier 1 service that quantifies as a normal change. Bitbucket will actually gate that deployment until that change has actually been approved by CAB. So to do this, I'm actually going to start in Bitbucket, and I'm going to come to my well, actually, you know what? I'm going to jump over here to my my software project first, and I'm going to create. I'm just going to go ahead and create a story really quickly. So let's say, for example, I'm a developer here working on my my payroll system, and I want to add. Right, I want to be able to pay people in euros, so I need to add the euro to my payroll system. I'm going to go ahead and create this ticket really quick. I'll add it to my sprint. And now if I open this ticket up, I can jump back over here to Bitbucket, come to my payroll repository, and I can make a commit. So I'm just going to go ahead and update this text file really quickly once it loads. Apologies, I'm not sure why it's taking so long. All right. Actually, if I come here to my source, not commits, I'm going to go ahead and just update this text file here. So I'm going to press edit. Now, typically you would be updating some code, but we don't have any code here. So I'm just going to change who do I talk to? Just remove my last name here, and I will actually commit this change. And I can say change for, and then I'll add my issue key for that story that I was working on. So change for SSP-71, add euro to payroll. And I will go ahead and commit this change. So now we can see here in our pipeline view that the code is actively being deployed to our production environment. And now if I jump back to that story and refresh it, I can see here that it's automatically linked my commit to my story. So I can just from the story come here and view view my commit message, or I could jump into Bitbucket right here and see that commit. I could also view my branches, pull requests, builds, and deployments as well. But just that's one thing to show. And then what I want to do now is actually jump over to my service desk where our changes are stored. And if I come here and I view my closed changes, once this was successfully deployed, we'll give it a second. Seems like things are taking a while today. Okay, it's currently deploying. All right, so it looks like my deployment was successful. So now if I come over here to my my closed changes and I give it a second, right here, ITSD 504 deployment 38 for Expium demo payroll to production was created just now. And it was automatically marked as resolved. So what happened is when I deployed that code to my production environment, it pulled my affected service so that it was my payroll system, saw that it was a tier 3 service, which we constitute only requiring a standard change. So it did not have to go through an approval process. And it automatically marked, it automatically created the change request and marked it as resolved once it was successfully deployed to production. So some pretty cool stuff, but it gets a little bit better here. What I want to do is I want to come now to my mobile application repository, and same thing. I can make my commit message and have that all linked to my story ticket. But I'm going to go ahead and just jump over here for the sake of time to my mobile app repository. Now, this is a tier 1 service, so we're saying that this does require an approval before a change can actually be deployed to production. So I don't have a change request created right now. I'm going to come here. I'm going to make some changes to my source file. And I'm going to go ahead and commit this. And now a couple of things are going to happen. You might just have to bear with me for 1 minute. So I'm going to jump to my pipeline view. And we'll see that this is currently deploying. So now what's happening is I'm deploying my code on a tier 1 service that we're saying constitutes a change that needs to be approved by our change advisory board. So give it just 1 second here. And what's going to happen is Bitbucket and Automation for Jira are going to realize that a change is being made to that affected service, and Bitbucket's actually going to block the deployment and automatically create a change request and not deploy it until it was approved. So we can see here that after its build phase, it went to deploy, but it actually paused deployment. So it says when the change request is to complete, the deployment will automatically resume. So I'm just going to give it 1 second for automation to finish up and automatically create our normal change over in our ITSD project. And we'll see that show up right here. Also, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. We will be getting to those questions here in just a few minutes. This one takes just a minute usually. There we go. So now I have the option to view my change request. And now if I jump over to this here, I can see that it pulled my affected service, which in this case I was making a change to my mobile application. And it was that tier 1 service, and that the the change type is set to normal, and right now it's waiting for approval. So you can see it went in and it notified the appropriate people on the approving, like on the change advisory board to go in and approve it. So if I go in and I'm going to go ahead and add myself as an approver here, and I can actually approve this change. So once I do that and approve it, and I jump back over to Bitbucket here, we're going to see that because I approved that change, it's automatically going to start deploying, finish deploying this to production. But things are moving really slow today. Oh, I'm sorry. I approved it. I need to actually transition it to implementing. So now that I've updated the status to implementing, and I come back over here, you can see that it is actually deploying to production now. So if we give it a minute to actually deploy, we'll see that when the deployment was successful, Automation for Jira will go ahead and automatically close that change request in our IT Service Desk project. So, all right, so we can see our deployment was successful. And now if I refresh my change here, we can see that my deployment was automatically marked as completed and set to done. So that's change management in JSM using Automation for Jira, Bitbucket, and JSM. So, and we just saw how to auto create and close standard change requests, as well as gate normal change requests. All right, so that's actually going to be the end of my demos today. I'm going to turn it over to you guys for some questions here. Oh, and it looks like we have our winner for our giveaway. So Adam Nichols, it looks like you won a magnetic power bank for your iPhone if you have an iPhone. So that's exciting. But does anybody have any questions about anything that they saw today? All right, well, it doesn't look like we have any questions funneling in. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap this. Oh, I'm not looking. I'm looking in chat. Apparently, not in Q&A. I'm so sorry. Looks like we have a question here. From which options have you created the approval hierarchy? Not entirely sure what you're getting at about the approval hierarchy. I think you're going back to that service request demo. Because of I'll show you, because of our assets database, we can see here that we have our employees each listed out, and so for each person we have our managers listed, right? So we have Brian here, and his manager listed out as Vicky. Or if you come to me, my manager is Brian. So automation, when a ticket is submitted for a service request, automation actually goes in, pulls our account information out of the asset database, and finds the manager that's listed here and sets them as the approver. Sets them as the approver for the request. So that approver is actually dynamic based on who is the person's manager. Okay, got another question here. Not that we saw today, but I'm curious. Oh, your CRM. I think you're curious about connecting a CRM. You're curious about connecting Salesforce to assets. That is all possible. You can connect Salesforce to Jira Service Management, and that is something we do all the time. There is an integration out on the Atlassian marketplace to connect Salesforce and Jira. It will pull some information. It depends on the information that you're actually trying to pull or push from Salesforce or to Salesforce, or if you're trying to keep the two in sync. We have a lot of experience using the APIs of both to build maybe a little bit more of a robust connector that pushes more data or pulls more data out and updates either the assets database or custom fields in Jira to really establish a strong integration between Salesforce and JSM or Jira. So if that's something you're interested in, we can talk a little bit offline about that. But that's quite a common use case there. Any other question? Oh, sorry, I keep closing the Q&A down here. Yep, no problem, Susan. All right, guys. Any other questions about anything related to Atlassian products or anything you saw today? All right. So somebody wants to know a little bit about Confluence and JSM. Good question. That wasn't anything that we talked about necessarily in the scope of this demo. But now with now with JSM, they have added Confluence as a knowledge base, meaning you don't actually have to have Confluence licenses to use Confluence as your knowledge base. Right, so if I come out here, if I come to my service desk, I can view and as an agent in JSM, if I have a connected Confluence space for a knowledge base, I can view and create articles within my JSM project. Apologies, some of our stuff in our demo got flipped around here. I think some of my permissions might have gotten revoked. So here we can see that I have a Confluence space linked. It's my IT service desk space. And I can choose who I want to be able to view it. So any logged in users into JSM or Jira can view this. And then who can edit it? Service project users or Confluence users. And what that means is, as an agent in JSM, like I said before, I can come here to my knowledge base settings and create articles in my knowledge base or update articles as an agent without requiring a Confluence license to do so. And the way that works then is out on my portal, you can share for your customers or end users those knowledge base articles as help articles. So if I'm searching in the search bar, like I can't log into my VPN, I can see like an article is suggested to me for VPN troubleshooting. Now, as a customer, I can view this article from the portal and hopefully self-help and get the help that I need. But yeah, all like the knowledge base is now included in JSM out of the box. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate the time today. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I will put my email in the chat here, and you are more than welcome to reach out and ask any additional follow-up questions that you might have. But thank you all for coming, and Adam, somebody will be reaching out to you to send you your prize. All right, guys, thank you so much.